Well, we'll see if anybody can hear me. Hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. It still don't seem like it's picking up anything. Can anybody hear me now? Woo! It shows it's green. Can anybody hear me now? Woo! If you can hear me, put a 1 on the screen. That thing used to work great. This whole setup used to work great. Anyway, if people don't show up, I'm just going to go and call it quits, and I'll go on the cell phone tomorrow. I hate recording on the cell phone. I hate it because I have information on the cell phone that I need to share with you guys. So if you guys can hear anything, let me know. As soon as you come in the chat, if you can hear me, put a 1 if you can hear me. Put a 1 for volume if you can hear me. The hacking never ends for me. You just don't know how to operate a computer. See, I'm not even making noise and it's showing the microphone's doing something. We'll see what happens. These freaking cats are acting stupid. There's nothing there. If you guys can hear me, hit the button. If not, I'll go live on my telephone. I'd rather go here because I got information on my phone that I needed to use. It's so much easier not to have my hands full. Can you hear me? Hear me? Let me know. Because I can't do anything unless you know. Ain't no point in me talking if you can't hear me. If you can hear me. Say so. I hate computers. I hate technology. I despise technology. Because my life's a lot easier without YouTube. My life is so simple without all this added drama. Because I know it's always going to be a headache. Always going to be a headache. If you can't hear me, let me know. I wanted to go over the court case. There's a lot of corrupt courts going on in this world today. Just watched the thing about Jeremy Hales. What the Hell's on YouTube. Watching him for about 8 months now. He's a little irritating. He's a little young, and he's very high-strung, but he's been on YouTube. He makes good money. He does YouTube. He does great on YouTube, but he puts his whole life out there, and then he wonders why people attack him. I can share some attack videos with him if he wants to know what being attacked on YouTube's like. Can you guys even hear me? I'm sure not, but we'll see what happens. But I wanted to show you guys the order. I wanted you to show you guys the order that the Highway Patrol wanted me to sign, giving up my rights to show their video online. I've got the dash cam for the trooper car that pulled me over. And wouldn't you know it, they didn't want me to share it with the public or any information about it. But guess what they did do? They deleted the volume. They deleted the volume on the video they sent me from the dash cam. The volume is what helps prove my case. If the radar ain't going off, because I 99.4% sure the radar never went off. The LiDAR never went off. Just him sitting on the side of the road and him pulling out and chasing me up the road and pulling me over. Then it shows me getting out of the truck and telling him he's number 1 twice. And then once he gets in his car, he goes to pull away and he stops. And then I get out and run up to his truck. Well, you can't even see me get out and race to the back of the car because he's facing this way while he's sitting there cussing me and begging me to come on, which none of that shows up because you can't hear him. If you can't hear me, I'll quit. Can you hear me? News now, can you hear me? If you can hear me, put a 1 in there. Hello, hello. I guess that means you can't hear, right? Can you hear me? And see, a lot of the trolls like to come on here and say, "Oh, we can't hear you. We can't hear you. You're on mute. You're on mute," just to get you to shut down and start over. 5 by 5. I don't know what that means. 5 by 5. It means you can't hear. Anyway, I'm going to continue for about 2 minutes longer. Nobody can say they can hear me, and I'm done. I'm done. I'll shut the computer down and walk away. I'm just about over it. None of this right here. Loud and clear. Thank you. That's all you had to say. This started 4 years ago or 5 years ago for my YouTube career, if you've been with me for any amount of time. The amount of trolls and attack squads on internet is insanity. And they violate the terms of service every single day. These people violate the terms of service. But if I come on here and I mention, and I read this, I got the notification the other week, you're not allowed to mention someone's immigration status. What? I can't talk current news and events? I can't talk about what's affecting me that has literally surrounded me? I can't speak of news and events? Or I get kicked off of YouTube? And it's always nice when they kicked me off the other day. And I noticed this the first time. When I finally started taking time to edit and I'd put a little music here, I would put like 10 seconds of music from like a Conan movie or memories from my childhood of different movies and just the music, like a 7 to 10 second track. That's all I'd put. Boom, copyright strike. You can't post your video. I'm watching like Danny Duncan. He's a multi-millionaire, but he can come on there and play half of a freaking rap song exactly as it is with part of the rap video in it. And it's like 20 different rap songs in every one of his 16-minute videos. And the world is great. But poor old me, I come on here and I want to use a 10-second slice. Nope, can't do that. Can't do that at all. It is so unfair what's happening in America. I watch a channel called What the Hell's Jeremy Hale, him and his wife George. And he does he goes to storage lockers. He buys storage buildings and storage lockers, buys them out and then sells it online, sells all the stuff. But he moved to this place. He's got a second location named Otter Creek in Florida, and he's got these psycho people that travel around and harass him and stalk him. And he's dealing with a corrupt judge that's taking that. It says that even though he's a victim of violence, that he can't own firearms during this injunction. He's not allowed to use the records from the court because he's under injunction. In what world, in what part of the Constitution does it say that a judge has the ability to shut your mouth? Has anybody been watching this Donald Trump crap? Has anybody watched it? If anybody is looking at the court cases against him and saying that's perfectly fine, you're the problem. Have you watched the Alex Jones verdict where it's almost $1 trillion they want him to a fine? Almost $1 trillion they want him to pay back. What? It's called lawfare. And they use it on everybody. And here's the problem. They have taken, and these talking heads on the news are the worst. They're like, well, these people, they just act like they don't like America at all because they're abusing the system. You think? Did you think that they liked America to start with? They hate everything about America. So they're going to turn it inside out to rip it apart. So I got a speeding ticket back in November. My daughter, my son were in the truck. We're riding up to a piece of property in another county. And every day I'm on this road, I'm passing 3, 4, 5 troopers, and these are nothing but pirates. They'll hide off the side of the road, or they'll sit in a turning lane facing this direction. They'll sit in a turning lane running radar up the road. They'll be sitting there, I'll pass them, and they're sitting there doing the reports by sitting in a turning lane. Did you know that America is one of the only states in the world, only countries in the world, where their officers hide? Did you know that? No other country in the world do they have officers of the law that hide in waiting to generate revenue. I'm going to get them. This is what they do. It's a money racket. If it was really about safety, well, you're speeding, so we're here to keep you safe. Why wouldn't you just park a police car in the middle of the median? Why wouldn't you do that and turn the lights on? Everybody slow down then, won't they? But instead, they create more dangers and more hazards by having the lights on, pulling out in front of a bunch of cars. Me and Tina watched this trooper on the side of the road over here. I'm coming this way. He's over here off the side of the road, hiding behind bushes. Almost pulls out in front of people, pulls out, crosses over the median. He goes over the grass in the middle of the road, swings a U-turn, and in bat out of hell, fast as that Dodge Charger will go, flies up, gets that far off my bumper to pull me over, saying that I'm speeding. He was just doing 100 miles an hour after making an illegal U-turn, driving through a median to catch me. But I was the dangerous one. Are we in backwards world? So every day, just like the other night, I rode up the same road. I've come over the hill, and on this one stretch of highway, there are no lights whatsoever. It's going up towards the mountains of North Carolina. There are no lights. It is completely dark. Nothing. You see nothing at night except what's in front of your car. I come over this hill, and here's a trooper sitting right off this side of the road, shooting radar down the hill. It wouldn't took but anything for somebody just to drift barely off the side of the road, would have hit him and totaled their car because they couldn't see him in the dark. No lights at all on, just so he could rob money from people. So when this case started, I told people, come on here. I said, oh, yeah. I said, I got pulled over today. I got a ticket. I said, I really showed my butt. And I told everybody what I did. I jumped out. I cussed him. I showed my ass because that's what I do when my PTSD trips and I'm trying to protect my family, because I don't like people trying to rob me of money, especially people that take money from me to begin with. And then they try to get extra credit by robbing me more. So I don't like that. So I come on here and tell everybody, yeah, it happened. And then there was like 100 people. Oh, you're full of it. You didn't nobody pull you over. What? I'm going to lie about getting a ticket? It's just like what started with the trolls is I went through an illegal, an unlawful roadblock, a license check down here in Hickory. Come bottom the hill, and boom, there's a license check. See, they're supposed to give you warnings, supposed to be signs posted, license check ahead. That's what's supposed to happen, but they don't do it because they want to catch you to take your money. So I go through it. I'm sitting through it. I'm like, hey, let's take our time here. I said, I got PTSD. The lights kind of set me off, so let's go slow and easy. I showed my license to the chick. Another black cop comes around, sees that I've got 3 bang bangs on my hips, and he freaks out. Bang, bang, there's guns, go. And she jerks Carter up and just raises all kinds of hell. You got to have a permit, this, that, and the other. I showed the body cam, still got the body camera. They called me a sovereign citizen for knowing my rights. So because I know my rights and I go by the letter of the law, that makes me sovereign. The sovereign ones are the ones that can murder you, get a paid vacation, a promotion, and a raise. Those are the sovereign citizens, and that job comes with a costume. Just like I told you guys about the Longview police here. Told you a year and a half, 2 years ago. Almost 2 years. Almost been 2 years now. He threatened my freedom of speech. You know what? I reached out to 4 huge YouTube channels for police accountability, and only one of them texted me back. No one else said a word. A blatant civil rights abuse recorded on the phone threatened my right to free speech. And all these rights activists, they won't help. Said it to Lackluster, said it to James Freeman. Rogue Nation's the only one that responded back. But he still didn't think it's a big deal. I mean, should we get shot and killed in America before we're allowed to sue? Does it have to come to us being shot and killed? Because I take great offense when somebody says, I don't like the way you talk, so I'm going to lock you up forever. Because that's what the chief of police told me. We're going to go through all your social media and find a crime to arrest you for. Just about like what's happening to Donald Trump. We've got the man. Now we're going to find the crime. If we can't find the crime, we're going to make it up. 300. Now it's with interest and all the other stuff piled on top of it. They're going to make him pay that lunatic woman now close to $400 million. Now they never determined. They determined that he didn't rape her, but because he defended himself against the lies, they convicted him. A judge convicted him. They didn't say he was guilty of rape. He said he is guilty of defending himself because calling her a liar for defending himself defamed her. Alex Jones, an FBI agent got a couple $1 million out of that lawsuit. No, he got $90 million. An FBI agent that Alex Jones never knew his name, never said his name, never mentioned him at all, got $90 million. It's called lawfare. When I tell you what happened to Alex Jones has been happening to me for years, no, it didn't matter. Who was I? I'm nobody. If you're still here, put a 1 in the chat. Let me know you could hear me. Hit a thumbs up. That'd be nice. How many people are in the chat, Zoloft? Because it never shows me how many people's on here watching. America is falling so fast, and nobody believes it. I mean, I saw on Timcast today, it said, Timcast IRL, it said, there's no way a pollster that's been a pollster for 40 years has taken surveys and has checked all the polls. There's no way possible Donald Trump's going to lose. Really? Do you think he lost the last one? Only 6 people in here? See, that's a problem. Earlier today, on a little bitty live stream I had, it says I got 1,400 people. In 8 minutes, 1,400 people, but now I'm set up 20 minutes and I ain't got but 5 people. See what I mean? They lock it down anytime they want. Lock it down. When you're not guilty of a crime in America and they can still run you through the ringer, you're done. America is done. This is communism 101. Just like I told you, happened to me years ago, fighting for my children. The judge in custody court, where I'm the plaintiff, fires my attorney, tells my attorney, you can't be his attorney anymore. See you later. I'm not going to let him have an attorney. This is America. So let's go to the case. Highway Patrol pulls me over and gives me a cool, slick 70 and a 55. Boy, that's a nice round number. 15 miles an hour over is equivalent to 4 points in your driver's license, which is reckless driving. You can lose your license for going 15 miles an hour over on a speed limit. Did you know that? Isn't that a wonderfully round number? Well, I started that day trying to get all my information. I did a Freedom of Information Act request. And I'll show you that request. Pardon my eyes. My eyes are shot. I can't see. And my glasses have disappeared. Weird how that happens. But I'll introduce you to some of the things I requested through the Highway Patrol, and not only the Highway Patrol, but through the from the courthouse. They're required by law to give me this information. In North Carolina, you have to sue for body camera footage, thanks to Pat McCrory. You have to sue to do that. That's what I did today. I have the body cam footage. Well, wait a second. He didn't give me any body cam footage. All he gave me dash cam footage with no audio whatsoever, where I can prove that he lied on his report. He lied on his report. This is what I was asking him. This is all the information I want to know. And from past cases that I've had, the only thing that cannot be released is and this is the dumbest thing. They will not release to the public an officer's disciplinary file. That should be the number one thing released. We should know when they got a crooked cop on the force. That should be the first thing we know. Hey, he's a crooked cop. Here's the information. But in North Carolina, they won't give that to you. Is that bizarro world? Sovereign citizen? Anyone? I said, I'm requesting Trooper Cosby's policies for de-escalation training. I'm requesting Trooper's ticket info, amount of money generated through the tickets the past year. I'm requesting the ticket info, amount of fines generated on 3/21 this past year. I'm requesting his past 30 days worth of tickets written, past 30-day location of traffic enforcement per day if differing. I'm requesting his radar, LiDAR certification, last calibration, history, type of technology, etc. I'm requesting his type of car, year, model, mileage, inspection history, any and all wrecks, damage, etc. I'm requesting all names of highway patrol troopers that police the same highway where I got busted from point 1 to point 2. I'm requesting amount of all revenue generated from North Carolina Highway Patrol on that stretch of road, as well as how many accidents per year on the same stretch of road. I'm requesting name, rank, serial numbers of any trooper that was assisting this trooper on that day and date, because a lot of troopers in North Carolina, what they'll do is they'll have a cop up on the bridge radaring, and they'll have another runner. So he'll radar them, and then this runner right here will go chase him down, pull him over, lock them up. Highway Patrol in North Carolina are notorious for being corrupt and crooked. I'm requesting the GPS data description of location from November 20th, 2020. So in other words, they didn't tell me where he was sitting on the ticket that I received, because I wanted to see where he was when he said he put the radar on me. I'm requesting how many tickets for speeding that were paid off or filed in court. Because see, if every American today would stop, I repeat, stop paying your speeding tickets, go to court, lock the courts down, show up. If there's 100 people in court on a freaking Wednesday, all for a speeding ticket, things will change really, really fast, because these judges won't put up with it then. You think they want to be there till 9 o'clock at night? No, it'll stop. But the problem is, American people have gotten too used to, man, it's going to cost the same amount of money for me just to pay his ticket off as it would to fight it, and I can't take off work. You know what's controlled America right now? You know the number one reason why America is falling so fast? Debt. The real people who, like me, speak out and have guts, they are so far in debt, they can't take off work to protest. They can't take off work to stand in the face of corruption. They won't take it off. They won't take the time to do what's necessary to grab this country back. I have no choice. I'm disabled without a government check. I have to get out and fight. Every stinking day, I'm out working, hustling, trying to make a dollar. That's why I have to fight. I just can't. I don't have $300. So here you go, lawyer. Go fight it for me. Because guess what? There's not always a guarantee that that lawyer's going to get it dropped. And you know what it said on the bottom of my ticket? It says, this is a trooper, a lowly state trooper who got a $13,000 raise in 2 months this year. $13,000 raise in 2 months. He told the DA, do not drop and do not reduce. Boy, that's some freaking balls. He must really have some power. You know how he's got power? Because he's generating the revenue. How many seatbelt tickets Trooper Cosby's written the past year, and how many were filed in court? I'm requesting the tickets that Trooper Cosby wrote for speed, which were determined not by radar or LiDAR, but by his own opinion. I'm requesting his immediate supervisor by name, rank, and serial number. I'm requesting internet search history for the past 6 months from his patrol car. Because you know what? When you get their search history, you find out when they're working, what they're working, and really what they're looking at.
How are they spending their time when they're on duty? If he's getting a $13,000 raise in 2 months, guess what? This man's generating. He's the head power. He's Blackbeard. He's Blackbeard in them black and silver cars. I want to know. I like to know how much money has been donated or contributed by the insurance companies. You know why? Insurance companies are the Highway Patrol and police union's biggest contributors. Because if not for the Highway Patrol and places like them, insurance rates would be low and we wouldn't be paying these exorbitant fees now, would we? Guess what information I got out of all those requests? Some of the information you request is simply not maintained in a record, and some of the requested intel is protected as confidential personnel record per NCGS 126 through 22. As your request for dash body cam video recordings captured by the State Highway Patrol are not public record pursuant to NCGS 132-1.4A. Such recordings may only be released pursuant to a court order issued by the Superior Court in the county where the recording was made. Thanks. So which part of that are they not allowed to give me? Because I don't see it where they can't give it to me. The confidential personnel record. Okay. So don't give me his disciplinary file. What about everything else I asked for? Oh, it's not held anywhere. Are you telling me they don't know how many tickets he wrote? And the judge today, and granted, he was a fair judge, but I said, well, Judge, what about this other request? I said, I didn't put this request in the file. They did. So I give it to the Highway Patrol. They denounced it. They declined it. Then the clerks put it in this file for me to go to court. I said, well, Your Honor, I'm in front of court, and you're releasing these records for body camera footage. I said, can you not give a reference for them to go ahead and release the footage that I need? He said, sir, I have no control over that. They don't keep any of that. Right? Right? So what's the problem? Big man says, pay the ticket, stop drinking and driving. God, you're stupid. You know how dumb I think you are? I won't tell you. So, public records, it's a law. They have to give you this stuff, but they refuse. And one of the very few people that I've seen actually stand up and take it all the way is Dan from Alderney, Erie County. And of course, honor your oath, Jeff Gray. Jeff Gray always goes all the way. He's the one that really showed me how to do Freedom of Information Act request. I did learn that from him. But see, I've been into government accountability ever since they've been screwing with me. Ever since they set me up for a crime that I didn't commit. But all these things that I requested, and they just, nope, we ain't going to do it. I have a right to know how he got my speed, how he determined my speed. On the ticket, it says, I clocked and estimated. Why would you have to estimate it if you clocked it? And if you're that good at clocking, why do you need to estimate? You see how that? Do I oversimplify things? Let me know in the chats. Am I oversimplifying? The judge rules against you, then you get to pay court costs. If you win in court in North Carolina, you still have to pay the court cost. Did you know that? Yeah. And the court costs now are like $190. It's a racket. The whole thing is a scam. Zoloff says, take away pensions, the qualified immunity, pay settlements for pensions. There you go. I think the way you stop the criminality in law enforcement is that 15 to 25% of any judgment to a civil rights violation or any law that a cop breaks in the performance of his duty, he should have to pay 15 to 25% of any judgment happening. The officer who did it, not the taxpayers. The insurance company shouldn't have to pay for a crooked cop. There's a cop in Chicago. He's had like 100 or almost 200 cases against him for excessive force. Almost 200 excessive force cases, and he's still on the payroll. Multi-millions and millions. I think the number last year was like $10 billion in the United States was paid out last year in civil rights abuses by law enforcement. You want me to tell you why they're letting it get this bad? You want to know why? They're letting it get this corrupt so the feds can run on it and take it all over. That's coming. The feds will be your law enforcement. They're going to have different branches of police departments. There's the tax unit. That's why they've been buying up ammo. There's the post office. That's why they've been buying up ammo. There's health and human services. That's why they're buying up ammo. Social services and welfare. That's why they're buying up ammo. Did you hear me? Did you hear me? You know why? When they eliminate law enforcement here, because there's not going to be anybody that knows you. You're not going to be judged by jury of your peers. You're not going to be arrested by your peers or people in your community. You won't be, you'll have no connection. The people that are coming for you will have no connection to you or your community. That way there'll be no accountability. They're going to federalize law enforcement, and that eliminates the constitutional sheriffs in your counties and states. This is the biggest problem. One of the biggest problems is these courts in these courthouses think they have the power to take away a man's First and Second Amendment rights. A judge can just say, "What? You can't talk about this. You can't own firearms. You're not convicted of a crime, but you yelled at your ex-wife. You can't have a firearm." Judges have taken more power than the Constitution's ever gave them. And even worse than that, sheriffs, who are the highest acting member of law enforcement in the state, won't do anything to defend and protect the Constitution. The sheriff is the one with the power. A sheriff of any state right now, the sheriff in Texas could go to the White House right now, arrest Joe Biden, and put him in a jail for treason. It could happen right now. Let's have the showdown. Let's get it on. But nope. You know why? Did you hear what I said 10 minutes ago? Do you remember? The same reason my cops won't go against the blue line. Why? Debt. Pensions. They can't lose their pension. Everyone in America lives this far above where they should be. I got to have the nicest truck. Go to the fire station somewhere and look at every one of them $100,000 trucks in the parking lot. Go to the cop shop. Any cop shop you see. Every one of them cops is riding around in brand new freaking cars. Have you seen the cops in California? Cops in Los Angeles are making $250,000 a year. That's the base level. And America was safer than ever. Just like why gun control is always the first thing that comes out of a Democrat's mouth. They keep the Democrat-run plantations full of crime. They want to have the shootings because if you take those 5 most dangerous cities out of the equation, America's down at the bottom of most dangerous places with firearms in the world. Check these out. And you go by red states. And Steven Crowder had an episode on this the other day. The myth is that red states with the most guns owned and the less strict, the most ease of guns, the easiest gun control laws in red states have the most gun crimes. Well, that's a lie. It's the one blue dot in the middle of that red state, like Tennessee, boom, Memphis, Tennessee, bam, all that gun crime. They got more gun crime in one city than the whole state combined. They drive those cars like they're 15 years old. They should have a handicap on overtime. They should. Judge rules against it, and you got to pay court costs. Anybody else in the chat? Anyway, I go to court today. I walk in. There's very few people in there. I got the very front row. I always sit on the front row because I can't hardly hear, so I got to sit on the front ear to hear what's going on. And I walk up, and the Assistant Attorney General for North Carolina. His name is, let me see, it's Manuel something or other. Manuel C. Davis, Assistant Attorney General, North Carolina Department of Public Safety, Counselor for the North Carolina Department of Public Safety. He gives me this. Now, you know how the trolls are. They get all my information off this and blah, blah, blah. It says, order on petition for release of custodial law enforcement agency recording and consent protective order. This matter comes before the undersigned upon the petition of most targeted citizen pursuant to NC General Statute 132-1.4a for the release of recordings made by personnel of the North Carolina Highway Patrol while carrying out the law enforcement responsibilities and maintained by North Carolina Department of Public Safety, NCDPS, based upon the petition and representations of counsel for the petitioner and the North Carolina DPS. The court makes the following findings. Remember, this is the AG writing this. The recordings sought by petitioner related to an incident that occurred on November 20th, 2023. Remember the speeding ticket that I didn't get that I lied all about? Petitioner is entitled to the release of the recordings. B. C. This court determined the confidentiality is necessary given the nature of the requested information and a protective order limiting the use of the recordings produced is appropriate. So in other words, he wants to silence my right to share this. D. All interested parties agree and consent to the entry of a protective order limiting the use of the recordings herein released. Wherefore, the court grants this petition, NCDPS shall produce the subject recordings to petitioner within 30 days. He had it on him right then and there. They didn't want to release it. They wanted to make me have to wait 30 days until I told the judge that he had the recordings on him. They were going to stall another 30 days. Scope of the order. Recordings pursuant to the order constitute confidential information. How is a public record confidential? See, here's the state trying to hide information from the people. Pat McCrory made a law, you got to sue for it. You got to get a court order, a judge's order saying to release it. So they got that. They got that protection. We're not going to let you see it. We're not going to let you see it. You got to get a judge. And you know how many people, that deters all accountability because people like Lackluster, people like all these big YouTube channels who are all about police accountability, they won't go through the effort it takes to get the body camera footage. They just won't do it. You can do it for a First Amendment reason as being in a reporting agency. Like I work for the news. I got my own newscast. I can go in there and petition the court. Now I'll have less of a chance to get the information for a news piece than I would have getting a court order because I'm actually in the video. But this is all to skirt accountability, to hide from the truth. Orders govern the handling and disclosure of all documents, materials, and information identified, produced, given, exchanged, obtained, or filed herein, and which are designated in this order as confidential information or are subsequently designated by the DPS as confidential information and provided to petitioners. Number 2, agreement on use of confidential information. All confidential information as defined and designated in accordance with this order shall be used solely in the investigation, presentation of petitioner's defense against a criminal charge. Said uses include, but not limited to, settlement negotiations, mediations, or other alternative dispute resolution processes, any other settlement processes, and all other pretrial, trial, post-trial proceedings, and shall not be used or disclosed by any person for any other purpose. So in other words, they were going to handicap me. We're going to give it to you, but you can't show it to nobody. Nasty cough. Number 3, disclosure. When used in this order, the term disclosure shall mean to provide, impart, transmit, transfer, convey, publish, or otherwise make available. Number 4, confidential information. For the purpose of this order and during the course of this investigation, settlement, negotiations, and or litigation, the parties to this order identify confidential information and define it as follows. The recordings produced pursuant to this order, documents, materials, or information designated confidential information in this order, or by any order subsequently entered in this action. C. Documents, materials, and information that is not public record pursuant to NCGS Chapter 132. D. Documents, materials, and information that is not public record pursuant to NC General Stat 126. E. Other documents, materials, and information which are potentially embarrassing or invasive of the privacy of a person, not a party to this investigation and possible litigation, and therefore an appropriate subject of the consent order. In other words, if I prove the trooper is a liar and the dash cam helps me prove that, that would be embarrassing. So when the judge asks, well, why do you want it? Why? Judge says, we have this order. Would you sign it? Nope, I ain't signing it. And judge is like, why? I said, well, if I'm allowed to have it, I should be allowed to show it to anybody who wants. It's mine. It belongs to me. It's public. I am the public. I said, and why would they put an embarrassing statute in there? So in other words, the Highway Patrol possibly did something embarrassing, and they have a clause in here that says, if it's embarrassing, we're not going to let you show it. That shows the height of corruption right there. If there's something's gonna make me look bad, I'm gonna force you to sign a paper where you can't show it to nobody. Who's the dumb hillbilly now? What was his name? Big Man that I kicked out of here 5 minutes ago? I'm the dumb hillbilly. Oh, yo, just sign it and I'll give it. And that's what he did before court. 5 minutes before court, the assistant AG hands it to me. Hey, man, just sign this right here and I'll hand this right over to you. We're not going to fight you at all. Just sign it and we'll just get right out of here. No problem. We're not going to fight you on having body camera footage. Ain't that something? He literally greased me up and tried to put his finger in me. Oh, bless my heart. Number 5, disclosure of confidential information. Confidential information shall not be disclosed to anyone except the court and its personnel, as well as mediators and their personnel. B, potential parties to any action or claim presented as required by law and pursuant to the terms of this order, including insurance representatives. C, counsel for any parties in this potential action or claim brought, including counsel for any insurance carriers or counsels, employees, and vendors. D, experts, consultants specifically retained by the parties or attorneys to assist them in the preparation of this case or to serve as expert witnesses at the trial of any potential civil action or otherwise, but only after execution of a confidentiality agreement as provided in paragraph 6E. Court reporters, videographers engaged to record depositions, hearings, or the trial of any potential civil action. And F, witnesses at any deposition in or related to this matter, as well as any witnesses or jurors at the trial that may occur arising from this accident. Weird, huh? Number 6, confidentiality agreements. Before confidential information disclosed to any vendor, as well as any person described in paragraphs 5B, 5D of this order, counsel or the party making the disclosure shall inform the person to whom the disclosure to be made that the confidential information, CI, shall only be used for the purpose of investigation of settlement negotiations concerning and or the prosecution or defense of any civil action arising from this accident. No, it was no accident. And shall obtain from the person to whom the disclosure to be made signed confidentiality agreement in the form attached Exhibit A. Counsel or the party making the disclosure shall maintain the original confidentiality agreement and need not produce it except by the request of the NCDPS or upon order of the court. I won't bore you with the rest, but does anybody believe right now that I did this today? Put it in the chats. Do you guys believe that I really went to court for body camera footage now? Anybody getting it? Zoloft, you've been here a while. Name the lie again. How many times do I state something as fact, then 1,000 trolls come on and say, you're a liar, and then I come in and I show the receipts, and then they say, well, you're still a liar, you made up the receipts. The Bible is the absolute truth because it says that a corrupt man will always and forever expect corruptness from every other man he comes in contact with. I paraphrase that, but when you're evil, you always expect evil out of someone else. That's the world we're in today. So not only did he try to sneak in the confidentiality order to hamstring me, but then they give me dash cam footage with absolutely zero volume. Why would they do that? All the video shows is him sitting off the side of the road hiding, pointing downhill, and then me coming by and him pulling out in front of traffic, crossing the median, crossing 2 lanes, going over the median, crossing another lane, and getting on there and just stomping the freaking gas and going wide open to chase me down. It's corruption. Now my phone, because every time now that I see them parked in the turning lane, radar, or man, these guys, they're so literally they make their money on Highway 321 going out of Hickory. That road right there, a 5-mile stretch up and down that road from here past Caldwell Community College. 4 or 5 cops on that road every single day, cashing checks. Every day, robbing the American people, hiding off the side of the road or coming down the road or parked in a turn lane. I saw one guy sitting there doing his reports, had a laptop in his lap doing his reports while sitting in an active turn lane. So every time now, I pick up the phone and I call and I say, hey, get this guy out of the turn lane. But weird, after I put my phone number on the subpoena, because I had to put my phone number on the subpoena when I turned into the highway patrol the other week. I think I posted a video about that. Now, when I call there with my phone number, it just rings and rings and rings. They've essentially blocked my number from going through at the highway patrol office. I walked in there, and it was right at almost 5 o'clock. And here's all these sheep sitting there waiting for permission to get a little piece of plastic that says they have permission to drive. And I'm in there talking to them. I said, guys, if you get pulled over, fight it. And they looked at me and they put their heads down. They were terrified. They were terrified a cop was going to come out of that door and do something to them. Some of them even snickered at it as if what I was saying was just so absurd. And that's the problem. That people in America are so brain damaged. They're so mentally controlled by this system that if I don't back the blue, then I must be a communist. Yes. You're not a patriot. The founding fathers, as satanic as they were, they wrote a document that said, don't trust your government. The people have the power, not the government. And anytime the people are tired of the government, the people can overthrow them lawfully and legally. Nope, can't do that. No. Lawfare, shut you down. Yeah. Oh, you really? Driving, and this is the one. Well, I'm gonna tell you one thing. If a trooper ever tells me that driving is a privilege, I will go off on him like there's no tomorrow. Driving is not a privilege. It's my right to travel. And there are several Supreme Court cases that now affirm that if you take your license and you turn it back in, revoke your license, turn it in, and you revoke your citizenship, turn it in, you can take the tag off your vehicle because guess what? And I know all the other people will say, you're talking that sovereign citizen stuff, that natural man stuff. No, this is what the courts are determining, that unless you're doing business, you're free to travel anywhere in America. You don't need, and this is the reason why there are business licenses. This is the reason why there are driver's license. There's a reason why you have to get permission to do everything in America, is because if you don't have the permission, you've been mind controlled to think that you don't have it and you don't deserve it unless you beg and pay for it. Nope. You gotta pay me $80. I like to hunt, fish, and trap. So I have to pay $80 a year. I have to pay $80 a year I got to pay to put a possum or a raccoon in a cage and put it in a crock pot. I got to pay $80 a year to kill a deer and put it in my freezer to put in my belly. Are you hearing me? I have to beg the state for permission. And they already hamstrung me then, saying, well, if you're a felon, you can't have guns. What's up, Mossy Man? Glad to see you here. You're a felon. You can't have guns. You're a felon. What case is that? What case says if you're a felon, you can't have a gun? I want to know. I'm gonna study. I think I had it written down, but why? If I'm a dangerous person, why am I free? My crime wasn't that I was dangerous. Cops had pot. One of my friends got busted. So that pussy pansy Brian Gerard, who got busted with pounds of mushrooms at Duke University, Brian Gerard gets busted with mushrooms at the University of Duke. And he can't let that happen because he's a pussy boy and he don't want to get in trouble. So his mommy and daddy buy him a narc and say, hey, we'll go buddy up to this guy who's just got a brand new, whose wife is pregnant. He's young. We'll give him the pot and then we'll come back in a couple of weeks and he'll give it back to us. And then the guy that had the pound of magic mushrooms, free and clear. Growing up prosperous, him and his kids are all lawfully own guns. They don't have any, but they can get them anytime. But me, the guy who said, well, I got myself into it, I guess I'm stuck. Nope. No rights. I'm the one that suffered. Because I'm not a dishonest rat snitch. I'm the one that suffered. Are you getting it yet? All you have to do is get on TV, and I get on to my other half about this, and I pretty much gave up because I know it's not going to do anything good. When Big Brother comes on or that stupid Survivor crap. These shows, this reality TV where we're going to kick somebody off the island, has programmed every person in America to think to themselves, I have to be the most ruthless, the most cruel, the most hated. I have to be untrustworthy. I have to lie, steal, and cheat to win. What? What are you telling me? If you offered me a show like that, I'd be the first person kicked off. Because I'm not going to tell. I'm going to tell Janet that Bob said that Phil said that he stole her toothbrush and he could have sex with Mary Jane over there. What? Reward the worst qualities in a human. The most disgusting, spiteful person on the planet. Oh, that's the one that's going to get the $1 million. Are you getting it yet? America's done. I told everybody this years ago when God gave me the epiphany that, hey, the Bible says China's going to destroy it. China and Russia is going to destroy us. Monster Man, I think he believed me. Not many other people did. It's all happening exactly as I said it was going to happen. I told everybody about the cloud, the cloud pivot model years ago. Nobody wanted to listen. They're doing the exact same thing. Did you know that London has been lost? London will never have a non-Muslim leader ever again. Why? Just like I told you yesterday, the illegal aliens in this country are being paid to breed. They're not strapped with debt because we are paying them to have sex, to make babies. Last year was the first year ever in the United States that our death rate was higher than our birth rate. Remember the death count I told you about the other day? It was on the Jimmy Dore show. The comedian Jimmy Dore, who's still right down the middle, and he's awake now, but he sure sounds smart now, but he didn't sound smart 5 years ago when I was telling him the truth. Where they're saying they're having 500,000 to 1 million more unexpected deaths because they always plan for a certain amount of overage on deaths. But now, 500,000 to 1 million more unexpected deaths? And the only thing different was what? What about whites are now a minority in the military? Why is it that they force the jab on everybody in the military? If you don't take it, you got to go. That must tell you that the minorities that are in the military now, because remember, just like with affirmative action, the college fund was another way that minorities that didn't have the test scores that whites and Asians had gives them a step up. But if you dare be complected as I am and say these things, you're racist. Facts can't be that way, can they? Like Letitia James is prosecuting Trump over his saying he over-evaluated his properties to get a loan from Deutsche Bank. He paid the loans off. He paid them off early. Deutsche Bank made millions and billions. Donald Trump made millions and billions. There was no crime. There was no injured party. But Letitia James says, if you put me in as the DA, I'm going to take Donald Trump down. So all sucks is they're giving out licenses. Yep, they're giving out driver's licenses. Illegal aliens, boop, walk right in the country, get driver's licenses. New York's just about done now. They're just about over it. They started actually arresting these illegal gangs. That get this, they're saying now that there are gangs of Venezuelans in New York City and around the world, especially in the United States now, all the way from New York all the way down to Florida. There are gangs that steal scooters, mopeds, scooters. Then they go break in cars, steal people's cell phones. Then they take it straight to the stash house. And then each one of these stash houses is an IT wizard of Chinese descent. What? An IT wizard. And these IT wizards of Chinese descent take these cell phones that are stolen and they unload all the data where people pay their bills online. I said, don't do that. Where people pay their bills online. I said, don't do that. Where people have their bank statements and have their whole life online. I said, don't do that. And they can rob them of $100,000 to $1 million in a matter of 30 minutes. Didn't I tell you that China and Venezuela have teamed up now? Didn't I tell you that? A year ago, China and Venezuela are now partners. What does China need that Venezuela has? Oil. Venezuela, one of the richest natural resources on planet Earth. One of the richest nations ever. Until they voted in socialism. Chinese force came in and started pitting person against person. He's richer than me. He's poorer than me. You're rich. You're poor. You're rich. In communism, everybody's equally poor. You don't remember seeing the news? Wheelbarrow loads of their whatever their cash is in Venezuela. The streets full of it. They can't burn it fast enough because it's so worthless. That's American dollar. See, things in Canada used to be a lot more expensive. I watch a DD Speed Shop on YouTube where this Canadian dude named Dan, him and his girlfriend, they build a bunch of old cars. They take them and cut all the rust out of them, put them all back together the old redneck way. Parts in Canada were like 2 times the price as they are here in America. But guess what now? The dollar is 75% of what Canadians' dollar is. Think about that. Canada's dollar is worth 25% more than ours. We have always been at least double what theirs is worth. You don't know how far this is going to go. You don't know how low the dollar's getting ready to go, folks. It is literally crashing before. It's already crashed. They're hiding it from you. Has anybody seen what's happening in Chile in the news? Where Chile is burnt to the ground like Maui was? Has anybody seen that? Did you know why? Because they had another smart city plan for Chile. That was going to be the South American home for smart cities in Chile. And the only thing standing in Chile were buildings that were a beautiful neon blue. I hate that the things out of my mouth come true. But I guess I need your help, Mossy and Zoloft and everyone else. How do I say them and get people to hear me? Because, I shaved and got clean cut for a while. That didn't work. I can't afford braces, so I can't change that. And I can't change my accent. I mean, not reacting to the trolls is a possibility, but I'm just not built that way. I'm old school. When I was 16, 17 years old, I was hanging out with 40-year-olds and 50-year-olds. When I was 20 to 30, I was hanging out with 60s and 70-year-olds because I'd like to learn from the men who did it, the men who had nothing and were content with it. Not this culture now has to have everything, the newest shoes, the newest this, every shoe in there I'm looking at right now. I don't think any of them I got new. The newest pair of tennis shoes I got my daughter's boyfriend gave to Mason, and they fit me, so I wear them because I don't have anything better. I don't need anything. I don't need any of that stuff to make me somebody. I had everything in the world I ever wanted. 5 Harley Davidsons tagged and insured, a big piece of land, a beautiful family, a house, a business. I had it all, and it was all stolen from me. And once I started to pray and come to peace with the destruction of my life, God said, you didn't need any of that to be happy. It was nothing but an anchor holding you down. Still heartbreaking. See everybody riding around in nice vehicles, riding, especially this time of year when it's cool. I loved riding my bikes. Now I don't even have the money to put my Harley that was stolen. The Harley I didn't own. Remember that? The Harley, you didn't own no Harleys. And I proved that I owned Harleys, and I proved they got stolen. And I showed you the check where I got reimbursed for the stolen Harleys. Anybody with me? You still here? The chat died. Any questions, comments, anything you want to know? Wish I had an answer, but back up your YouTube videos on the free speech political platform. I don't know how to back it up. I can't back anything up. They won't let me back up anything. I'm lucky the microphone's actually working. I hate that I lost 1,500 videos just from one channel. Like right now, they won't even show me how many people's in here watching. But as I said, I got the body camera video. It does nothing for me. It does nothing for me to fight my case. So even in America, and this is what people need to understand, and especially targeted individuals, because if you know me long enough, you know I am a targeted individual. You're a loony, you're delusional, you're just crazy. If you know me, I'm a targeted individual, and the only way a targeted individual will win in court, the only way to win in court as a targeted individual is to not be in court. If not for the grace of God, that's the only way I'm still here. That's the only way that court went the way it did today. I'm trying to get the transcript. I'm trying to get the audio, but they're fighting me on trying to get the audio. Oh, you gotta email this woman. I said, why? I should be able to put her public records request in and get it, but I've got to teach the whole courthouse up there. When I went downstairs and I finally talked to the court again, I said, you know what? They brought in the assistant district attorney or attorney general, the assistant AG from Raleigh, 3 hours away. They brought him all the way down here for me to stop him in court, for me to beat him in court. But the staff at the courthouse won't listen to me when I'm telling them what to do. I show them the paper that says the law and say, this is the law, this is how we do it. And they say, we don't do it like that around here. If you don't like it, you just have to get a lawyer and do it yourself. Same with Catawba County. 7 or 8 different times I sued for body camera footage, and they said, well, we don't know how to do it. Here's the law. Let's do that. This is the problem in America. They pass these laws, and most of them are unconstitutional, but they pass them. So that's the only line that people like me and people like Donald Trump have to go by. So we follow the law, and when we follow the law, that's still not right. I've never threatened law enforcement. Never made threats against them at all. Now, to me, what I say is not provocative at all, because I don't think that men with guns should be able to come in my house and threaten me over my words. I don't think men with guns should be able to come into my house with a little old fat woman that's never had kids and say, "You don't deserve your kids. We're taking them. We can't prove you did anything wrong, and there's not any reports, but we don't think you should be around them." We're in America. You know how hard it is in other countries for somebody to show up your door and say, "We're here for your children"? Try that in Africa and see what happens. They'd cane you to death out in the yard. But in America, every day, I beg everyone in the audience, all 14 of you, if you know somebody, if you know a child that's in a bad position in a home, do not call law enforcement. Do not call the traffickers at social services. Do not call CPS. These are the most dangerous agencies you will ever come in contact with. They will traffic your children. 300,000 disappeared last year of American children. We don't even know how many. The last count was 85,000 migrant children that have disappeared from the face of the earth. The whole system is corrupt. It's all falling in around our heads. You will own nothing and you will be happy. Please research what I'm saying. Tatum Morgan says, and when your kids turn 18, they'll be drafted and killed. They're going to do that too. You know why? Because it ain't their kids. Lindsey Graham, the biggest war hawk in Congress. No, Senator Lindsey Graham. The biggest war hawk, Senator Lindsey Graham. 60-some years old. Been up there, 40 years he's been in Congress or in the Senate? 40-some years. Came out of the Naval Academy. Worked for JAG. Never come out of the closet yet. Doesn't have kids but wants to send yours to die in some desert or some swamp around the world. We're sending trillions of dollars to Ukraine. Trillions of dollars to Israel. But the Bible says those who bless Israel, God will bless. And that's a fact. That's the only reason America's been prosperous, because we've taken care of Israel. Should America come first? Absolutely. But fastest way to depopulate is war. The fastest way to launder money is war. When I was 14, I went to church with this guy named Charles. He was my best buddy. His dad was in Vietnam. And they would tell me stories of how his dad had 50 confirmed kills with the Marine Corps. And when you're a kid and you hear that and you look at your dad, and your dad's this weasel that likes to beat on you all the time, and you're like, man, this big broad-shouldered man is strong. He's got 50 kills being a Marine Corps. I wanted to be a Marine. It's like, man, I want to do that. I want to go be a man. And then I get set up for a crime that I never would have committed if the police department, who were corrupt, didn't bring pot to my house for me to commit the crime. I lost my chance to be a Marine. And seeing how God works, look how many screwed up men my age are walking around America today with a Gulf War hat on, Gulf War veteran hat on. They are screwed up, Looney Tune, freaked out, just screwed, and can't get any help. And they're the first ones to tell you how great America is and how they would go back to that desert sandbox and do it again. Do what again? Go to another land where people did nothing to you and murder their men, women, and children? What? If you're a veteran of the United States, and you're not ashamed of what you've done, the hell that's coming to America is your fault. You fell for it. If you saw 9/11 happen, even if you believe everything they told you on the news, and you said, yep, I'm going to go defend America by going to Afghanistan, boy, you're dumb. It was nobody from Afghanistan did anything. Osama bin Laden was a CIA plant. The whole family was invented. Alex Jones said it a month before 9/11 happened. It's going to happen. This guy named Osama bin Laden, a CIA agent. And still today, these guys are proud. They walk around with that hat on, and I'm thinking, what are you doing? My Uncle Bill, he was a door gunner in a helicopter in Vietnam. He was hanging by a strap in a helicopter. Boom, 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 boom. In Vietnam. And he was one of the first people besides me that would talk about little leprechauns running around his house moving stuff, hearing voices in his house. And this man was not crazy. Targeted just like me. But he went to war over a lie. America is nothing but a warmongering nation, and all the people we have murdered, their children are coming for revenge. If you didn't see the streets during these Palestinian protests, you didn't see the streets, the millions of them in the streets protesting, you don't think they ain't going to come for you soon? And what amazes me are these gay and lesbian people who are like, Palestine, let them, do they think that they can go to Palestine and walk in the middle of Gaza right now, twerking around in a goddamn minis? Do they think they're going to pull that off? They think that their mental illness has endangered them here? Well, the suicide rate's so high because they're bullied. No, suicide rate's high when you're mentally ill. It isn't that you're being bullied. I grew up when bullying was at its prime. We played Smear the Queer every afternoon. Did that mean we want to go out and bash homosexuals? No. Whoever had the football, the word queer rhymed with smear. And you got it, and you got smeared into the dirt. But we weren't going to school and attacking gay people. Was that a word to call everybody you're picking on? Yeah. You see, even as a kid, we didn't see color. My best friends were black. But it's so it's just hyperventilation from everyone. Racist, racist, racist. And even earlier, what do you think about black people? What do you mean? What do you mean what I think about them? I don't think anything about them. I think that I've gotten screwed by every race on this planet. And mainly, right now, it's the really, 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 really rich white men that want to kill me and my family. There's a whole lot of really, really rich black men that do too. It's them, this very small number at the top, and us. But the thing about that really, really number of small men, they've been on this earth for a very, very, very long time. They are not of this earth. So, I'm done. You got questions, comments? I'll answer them. Let me know. The chat stopped and died. I guess there's only 12 people here. I don't know. We'll see when it shows up. If it loads, it's still processing a video I did 4 days ago. Strange, I know. I'm exhausted. I'm tired. I'm going dry. So, remind the people who said, I didn't do what I said I did. I didn't get pulled over. Remind them people again. I brought the receipts again. But guys, I don't have money to pay a lawyer, and it ain't going to do no good. So I have to fight it myself. I have to fight this myself. We can't afford the insurance rates. 4 points. So you get caught speeding one day, and you got to pay for it for 3 years in the state of North Carolina. That's insane. That's robbery. But guess what? In America, if you've never had driver's ed, you never had a green card, you never had a driver's license, they don't even know who you are. You can get in a car and drive anywhere you want, drunk as you can be, and murder people and still walk around. I'm trying as quick as I can to be comfortable with the destruction of America, but there's a reason that I'm having such a hard time coming to grips with that, and I'll show you the reason why it's so hard for me to come to that. That's the reason. Let me see if it's going to show up. Oh, that little boy right there, that's my grandson. Oh, it ain't going to show up. Oh, anyway, my grandson is the only reason why I'm having such a hard time, because he's never going to know what it's like. He's never going to know what it's like to be free. He's never going to know what it's like to be old. He'll never see his 30th birthday. That's how fast America's going to go. If you don't know why the elites are getting bunkers, it's just not over civil war. It's just not over nuclear war. They know Apophis is coming around the moon. Apophis, you know where the Bible says an angel will throw a millstone from the heavens and it'll hit the sea and completely disappear. Mystery Babylon. Apophis, the asteroid that's as big as Earth, it's coming around the sun. It's going to be within 30,000 feet of the Earth. And if it gets in our orbit, it's going to get... Anyway, hit the thumbs up, guys. I'm out. I love you. Let me know how you think. Let me know what you think. You want another live stream? Tell me the best time. God bless. Thanks, Mossy Man. Thanks, Olof. Everybody else is here and I don't see you. God bless you.